Hey, Stacy. Hi, Peggy. How's it going? Meh. Hey, Rebecca. Hey, Shelley. Hi, Getty. Gettle? Gettle. What did I think? Getty. Hi, Gettle. I overthought for a moment. Overthought and screwed myself up. Dag nabbit. Yeah, sure. Any name is fine. That's good. Your dad's dick. Excuse me. Hey, Uncle Buck. Indeed. It's like I summoned. It was like I summoned you with that one. You felt it? That's what she said. Alternatively, you felt it? So did I. And by it, I mean your dad's dick. Any plans for the weekend? Not die. Hey, Donna. I am gonna take a break from like just a 1 week break from Symphonic Rain. I'm gonna play a different game tomorrow. But I'm not gonna say what the game is. You muted Dharma. What was I overthinking? Everything. It's what I do. Overthinking is just, it's what I do. Protect your peace. Is that like an ad for jock straps? Sunspring never ever stops, so I get it. Anyway, I started my rewatch of Cowboy Bebop. Fuck, that show is so good. No, no, this is a show I'm watching just for me. I want to watch it just for me. And it's structured in such an interesting way. Because like it opens with this sort of prologue, sort of flashback prologue kind of thing. And it's so stylish and moody and cool and interesting. Yeah, immediately sucks you in like, ooh. I want to know what's going on here. And then the first episode has absolutely nothing to do with any of it. Yeah, the first episode is just sort of very much one and done. And then you get 3 more episodes that are basically one and done. Yeah, they're sort of they're sort of building up the cast during those first few episodes. And then you hit episode 5. And it's very much a holy shit kind of episode, you know? And then it goes back to just one and dones for a few more episodes. Like, that's the most interesting thing about it. It's 26 episodes. And only 5 episodes really contribute to what could be called, you know, the overarching plot. And then, a couple other episodes that are sort of meant to contribute to Faye's subplot. I'm ashamed that they left the live action. The live action, unfortunately, was bad. I feel like there's no getting around the fact. Oh, bye, Gettle. There's no getting around the fact that the live action was just bad. It actually was fairly well cast. Yeah, like I thought, like everybody, like all except for Vicious. Vicious was one of the worst casting choices possible. Had it a Saturday until I saw your title. Like, no disrespect to the guy who's playing Vicious, but that fucking chin, that jawline, that chin. Christ, that is not Vicious's jawline. That was a big ass chin he had. And like the white hair did like the white hair, the long white hair somehow did not suit his face. Um, you left out and want to watch it so bad. Oh, it is so fucking good. But yeah, the basically everything to do with Vicious in the live action was bad. they butchered his character so horribly. And it sucks because he's so fucking cool in the anime. He is the coolest fucking villain in the anime. And then the live action completely ruined him. Completely botched him. Also, they fucked up Faye's storyline. Again, Faye is like a really cool, fun, interesting character in the anime. And in the live action, the actress they got, had a lot of churn. But the show downplayed like both her use of her sexuality, and it also downplayed her recklessness, and it completely missed the point of her characters of her storyline. Because like the anime, she's deeply in debt due to medical expenses from her cryogenesis and being woken up and medical care after being woken up. Like she's got an insurmountable debt, medical debt. And it's because of a broken healthcare system. And then the live action comes along and is just like, nah, fuck that. Never mind the debt angle, never mind the shitty health, super expensive healthcare angle. They had that in animation too. So yeah, it's one of those things where like the live action did have some potential and it did have some good elements to it. It did have some good parts to it. But by and large, they just completely fucked it up. That reminds me. Did Yoko Kanno do the soundtrack for the live action? Did they bring her back? They did. Okay. Wasn't sure if they brought her back. That was like probably the best choice they made. Was keeping on Yoko Kanno as the show's composer. This wasn't Yoko Ono. Yoko Kanno is like pretty phenomenal. Yeah, that theme song is just it does have one of the greatest theme songs of all time. Yeah. Definitely worth seeking out the Cowboy Bebop anime. You got stuck in your head? Good, it's a good fucking song. I will usually like when I'm doing a binge like I'm doing right now, I will usually skip uh theme songs, intros. Oh, 1 second. Is your refrigerator running? Really? Hey, Buttercup. That was the one you went with? Is your refrigerator running? Hi, Breeza. I should time you out just for using that one. A blonde is talking to her friend about her boyfriend's dandruff problem. You gotta join me on this one. A blonde is talking to her friend about her boyfriend's dandruff problem. The friend says, "Have you tried giving him Head and Shoulders?" Blonde says, "Okay, but how do I give him shoulders?" Was listening to her while doing stuff in the yard and lost track of time, so I forgot what to say. Fair enough, Buttercup. Fair enough. Yes, Buttercup. It's gonna be a one-off. It absolutely will not be stretching into a series. It is definitely going to be just like a one night only game. You'll have to wait until tomorrow to find out what game it is. But I don't know. I hope people enjoy. I will say I haven't played it yet. I haven't actually played it myself yet. But just based on the description, it is a short game. Hopefully it'll be fun. Until Daddy takes the time bird away. What? T-bird? Still what? Who's Daddy and where did we get a T-board from? Beach Boy song? Ah. So like, the hell did we get a T-bird? Well, anyway. Well, today I don't like it. Better than it being hot. In this little hospital. Nice, nice. Turns out our feeding tube was leaking inside, and that's caused the pneumonia. Ah. Picture my environment, much like Florida generally. Sounds awful, frankly. Yeah, I would not want to live in Florida or Florida-like weather. Should I get wood and have fire? Get wood. I'm pretty nice where you are. What? I'm 13 years old. Is it my fault that I'm 13 years old? It's not Uncle Buck's fault for being 13 either. You're screwed if you're the most grown-upiest. We need someone that can drive. Exactly. Air pairs combined with Magic Chunks detail. Yeah, 15 minutes from now. Except on days off, I should get until an hour or so later. Well, I'm sorry. He didn't die. Good to know. Well, dang. Kiana May, of the creator of Pretty Please, I Just Want to Be a Magic. I Don't Want to Be a Magical Girl, posted some new art, and well, dang. That's adorable. Anyone hear about the giraffe that went missing in Texas? Has apparently been found. Fat and happy. Nope. Down in Texas, a giraffe somehow got loose. Been a few days. It's been missing for a few days, which you would think. How the fuck do you lose a giraffe? You would think of all the animals out there, a giraffe would be one of the hardest to lose track of. Did I get lost in my team? Like, yeah. As far as like land-based animals go, giraffes and elephants have got to be like the hardest to lose track of. A giraffe is not a small animal. But yeah, few days. No, it's real. No, that's not a joke. It's genuinely a real thing that happened. Legitimately, a giraffe in Texas. I think it was like from a zoo or something like that. Got loose, and yeah, it has been found. Apparently, it has been found. It was found fat and happy, which is pretty amazing. Just missing giraffe found fat and happy is just an incredible headline. You just saw it on the news. Yeah, I saw it mentioned on social media, and yeah, just fucking amazing. I think it's such a great, like, you don't need to know more about the story than giraffe went missing. That's all you need to know about the story. It's like, this is already an incredible story. I approve of this. I approve of this turn of events. And now it's been found fat and happy, and you're like, you know what? I also approve of this turn of events. Since it could be a scene in a spoof movie. Yeah, like a comedy plot. Catherine, thank you for 10 gift memberships, Catherine. Congratulations, Ocean Wave, Artie Check, Erkchick, Angela Precious World, Dom, Cypher, Roxy, Spooky Stoner, Brit's Telltale Dolls, Bethany, and Token Diva. It is a day to celebrate. It's a day to celebrate. The missing day to celebrate that a missing giraffe has been found. Went back into our space finally after the fire. Oh, finished the mentoring program I was working Frees up so much time. Nice. That's neat. Yeah, a giraffe went missing down in Texas, but it was found fat and happy. And that's a quote. Fat and happy is a quote. Had to be a girl giraffe. No idea, but so happy it's down to work. No busy time. With health and wellness training with 5 folks and 7 phased out last week. Back to your fun shenanigans now. Busting out my snazzy favorite blue suit this weekend. Nice. Hey, mean sugar. Close that closet door. No, because I have things to show off in here. If I close the door, then how are people going to see Cove and Jekka and this record and my jacket? And when I move just right, Lore Olympus. How am I going to show all those things with the closet closed? Open your PO box, get more over here. Yeah. Still inclined to hold off until autumn. Something cool. Ooh. Sounds neat. Stacking till fall. I decided not to get an Our Life t-shirt or socks. Let me find the email again. Surely it wasn't that far back. Impossible to understand the t-shirts, but why not socks? Yep, it is 9 o'clock. Well, I mean, I definitely wouldn't have been wearing the socks. Like, it's the Our Life socks. I definitely wouldn't have worn them. Special. Nah. Here's the t-shirt. That's what the t-shirt looks like. And then here's the socks. I don't. Yeah. Suppose maybe I should. Maybe I should get it. Love the blue. It is a pleasant blue. Socks are adorable. Yeah, like I said, I wouldn't wear them. I always just wear black socks. Black socks and get yeah. Yeah, I just wear the black socks and plain black socks. I don't know. Yeah, maybe I will get the t-shirt. Maybe I will get the t-shirt and could join the hoodie and things I don't the hoodie I don't wear. .99% of yours are black gold Toker socks too. Do have a few special pairs. Your novelty socks say fuck off. My novelty socks say, I'm gonna get more water. I'll be back in a minute. Continue to smash turkey sausage. Nice, nice. I will have rice again tonight. Though it's brown rice. A couple weeks ago when I was at the grocery store, they didn't have the I was getting like, white rice, like a specific size bag that's just easy to carry. And then easy to easy to pour the rice out and shit like that. It's just like it's an easy size for me. Bedtime party so I continue dinner. Doesn't take longer to cook. Probably. When I made it last night, it didn't turn out as well as I'd hoped, frankly. Brown rice does have more fiber and nutrients. Alright, so yeah, I do need to use a little bit more water. I didn't use enough water, so it didn't turn out as well. I need to use 1.5 cups. And it does take several more minutes. I love it so much. I can be pretty finicky. All right. Hopefully I can get white rice again tomorrow. Hopefully they'll have white rice in stock tomorrow. Got a good idea of my palate. Beef. My palate is beef. And rice, obviously. Knuckle sandwich. %90 of your protein intake. Is the other 10% jizz? That was stupid. I'm sorry. Told you my secret to youthful skin and nails. Oh, I just remembered something I was going to mention earlier. Deleted your comment. I did another Family Guy reaction. Found a video somebody put together of like, Family Guy moments that make me laugh. What country? What? Family Guy? Yeah, so I did another reaction to like, this one's like Family Guy videos that still make me laugh. Which means I did another rant about how much Family Guy fucking sucks. Do Family Guy's writers know what a joke is? Skin nails, yep. Like, that's my question. Like, do they actually know what a joke is? Because I'm not sure they do. Pretty sure she got it, Buttercup. German reactions, German jokes, Family Guy. They do different. Yeah, it wasn't specific country. They had their moments. Like, I actually enjoyed Family Guy way back in the day. When it was first airing, those first 3 seasons, I enjoyed them. And then, they got canceled. And then a few years later, they came back from cancellation. And just like, I've seen virtually nothing from their past 20 fucking years that they've been running that was actually funny. Yeah. It's not like I don't watch, like, I've never watched full episodes of it. Distracting trumpet. You play that clip anytime and I'll fall over dying of laughter. And I think what pisses me off about Family Guy, there's a couple things that piss me off about Family Guy. First of all, is just the fucking laziness. Should I get wood? Wood. Yeah, I'll do a try not to laugh. And yeah, I will actually not laugh. I'm good at not laughing. But yeah, like, there's a laziness to Family Guy's humor. Because they've got a few types of jokes that they do a lot. They've got cutaway gags, which, hey, why bother coming up with a joke that's relevant to the situation at hand when we can just have the character say, "This is worse than the time pop culture reference. This is just like pop culture reference." Like they're not fucking jokes. Like, it's not a joke at that point. They also love their overly long gags because, hey, why bother writing, 2 minutes of material? We can just have one single solitary joke spread out that lasts 2 full fucking minutes. Or 3 fucking minutes. Yep. Why bother writing material? We can just have one joke that just never fucking ends. Uh, and they love their ultra violent joke humor. Haha, look at this character getting the absolute shit beat out of them. Which will often go along with overly long gags. You know, spend 2 minutes showing a character getting the shit beat out of them. And gross out humor, of course. They do enjoy gross out humor as well, once in a while. But like, those are like the three types of jokes they've got: cutaway gag, overly long gag, hyper violent gag. And that is like 98% of the humor. That is 98% of the jokes. And it just feels so fucking lazy to me. And the other thing that feels lazy to me about Family Guy is the cynicism. Because again, early on, early seasons, the early seasons of Family Guy, they were kind of like, first 8-9 seasons of Simpsons, where the characters, for all their flaws and foibles and issues, were generally, generally their hearts were in the right places. Peter was an idiot and he could be callous at times, but he did love his family. He was willing to do anything for them when when push came to shove. Lois was, often put upon, but she did genuinely love Peter, and she did love him for a reason. But then after they came back from cancellation, like every clip I've seen since then, they're all just assholes. Every fucking character is just a complete, total, absolute, irredeemable asshole. And that feels lazy to me. Hey, Brooka. Edgy humor is not actually brave. Edgy humor is the easiest fucking thing in the world to do. Loved her kids in the beginning, and now she's an emotionally abusive, neglectful mother. Yeah. And like Meg early on, Meg was a loser. But as time went on, the show started treating her worse and worse. Started treating her as like this repulsive monster who deserved to be mocked and humiliated and tortured and all that shit. There was still sympathy for like early on. The show still treated her with some sympathy. But as Mila Kunis got big, any sympathy for Meg got thrown right out. Like Seth MacFarlane would boast about how the bigger Mila Kunis got, the worse Meg would be treated. Which feels kind of misogynistic to me. They didn't pull that shit with Chris as Seth Green got bigger. Turned into a piece of shit to the character. It's the only character that they did that with was Meg. you know, voice actress gets success, and the writers started saying, fuck that. Fuck you. You know, like it really feels misogynistic. Going back and forth with Chris' character. Right, because these characters, because the characters aren't characters anymore. You know, early on they were written as characters, but now they're just whatever the joke, whatever joke they want to do, they'll twist the characters to fit the joke. The only scapegoat in the Dark Iterations. For test parodies, yeah. But yeah, it's like edginess is not brave. You know, people who tell dark, edgy jokes, they want to act like it's I also miss Scapegoat. Like it's some courageous rebellion against the establishment and sticking it to the man, you know, and telling it like it is. Comedian by the name of James Acaster. So they did a bit touching on that. I'm a comedian. My job's to challenge you. What's wrong? Too challenging for you? I'm a comedian. My job's to challenge you. What's wrong? Too challenging for you? The bit was specifically about oh, what's that fucker's face? What's that fucker's name? Guy who did the British version of The Office. Aren't you glad I didn't say banana? Touch on the point to everyone trying to attack all this other bullshit to humor. Attach all this other bullshit to humor. And that means no longer a joke, no longer fun. Ricky Gervais. That was who I was trying to remember. He was talking about Ricky Gervais telling jokes about trans people. But, you know, sort of touching on a wider point as well about comedians punching down and claiming that they're, you know, that they're challenging, you know, social mores or whatever fucking bullshit they going for the laundry. Whatever fucking bullshit they use to justify their bullshit. And it's just like, the people who do this, who do that sort of humor, they're never really challenging. The establishment. Sometimes I thought he was funny, but then there's a fine line where he's just dick. Oh yeah, I'm like, yeah, and he crossed that line a long time ago. Yeah, he's an asshole. He is such an asshole. Just so fucking full of himself. As comedians of his type are. The more offensive a Canadian or a comedian, the more offensive a comedian's routine is, the more full of themselves they are. And frankly, the less likely they actually are to challenge the established social order. Canadian offensive. Yeah, some of us are. Some Canadians are pretty offensive. But it's maybe they'll make a joke about Elon Musk or something, but they're not really going after him. They're not really going after the billionaires. They're not really going after politicians. They're not really going after corporations. They're not really going after the people who actually have power. Because at the end of the day, they're cowards. Supposed trillionaire? Yeah. It's all fake money. Ooh, I'm a trillionaire. No, you're fucking not. A bunch of people with fake money decided you have more fake money. None of it's fucking real. You found a niche for a minute? Yeah. Like that in Catch, please. Yeah. In any event, though, like I said, it's edgy comedians are just fucking pathetic. And they're lazy. End of the day, they are fucking lazy. I feel like a lot of the best humor you will ever find is in media that is intended to be family friendly. because they're working within specific constraints. You know, they have constraints on what they are allowed to say. And nothing breeds creativity quite like a restraint. Dave Chappelle gets away with it. Yeah, I mean, a fair amount of his old fan base has sort of drifted away from him for exactly that reason. He's not as bad as a lot of them. His trans jokes were pretty shitty, but that aside, he's not really as bad. Best night ever. Being blanky, so I'm asleep like the dead tonight. Hurrah! Aside from those trans jokes, like he's not really as bad in terms of look how shocking I am kind of nonsense. Does he agree with most of his jokes? Yeah, I mean, like I said, he's not as bad about it. He's not as obnoxious about it as a lot of the others. But yeah, it's I kind of feel like a lot of these comedians would benefit from being told no. Not even necessarily being told no, frankly. I think a lot of them would benefit from from trying to write some family friendly comedy. I don't find really any comedians, as they call themselves, particularly them. Oh, there are some out there who are like really good. There are some out there who are really funny. But yeah, I feel like a lot of the like a lot of those edgy comedians would really benefit from writing something family friendly. Because they'd have to really think a lot more about their jokes. Everyone wants to turn politics and pop culture into their whole personality, and it's boring. Here's the wild thing about Ricky Gervais, actually. He did tell one trans joke that I thought was actually pretty good. I actually thought it was a pretty good joke. It was shortly after Caitlyn Jenner came out. And he was like, I think it was like Golden Globes or one of those Oscars or one of those events. And he was talking about he loves his cat and looks like Kuna. Yeah, he was talking about her, shattering stereotypes or whatever. And then he added, not doing much for the stereotype about women drivers. And that was a good joke. Some people got annoyed because, the stereotype about women being bad drivers is wrong. Women are, statistically much safer drivers than men. So it's like, well, hey, that stereotype's wrong. It's like, well, sure, but the stereotype does exist, and it was a really good reference to it, given that Caitlyn Jenner had pretty recently committed vehicular manslaughter from being a shitty driver. That actually was a good joke. Ricky Greta Thunberg Gervais. That was a good joke. I liked it was funny. And then he just dove in on fucking transphobia. There were a couple of years there where he was like all in on transphobia. His Twitter feed was full of that shit, and comedy routines were full of that shit. Everyone wants to make that BS their whole personality, so they missed the joke entirely. Yeah, and frankly, calling out Caitlyn Jenner for killing somebody with her car, always fair to do, because she killed somebody with her car. Yep. Oh, yeah. People die all day, every day. People need to. Yeah, but the point is, it is completely accurate. It is completely fair to call her out for that. So yeah, that was actually a good joke. One that was directly related to Caitlyn Jenner's transition. And then a couple years after he did that joke, he fully embraced transphobia for a while. Like I said, his feed was full of transphobic bullshit. His Twitter feed, yeah. did a lot of damage to his career, frankly, I think. Well, hard to say. But it did turn a solid chunk of his old fan base away from him. Taking shots as a network, and I can 100% get behind that energy. Yep. A good shot's a good shot. That embrace of transphobia, it cost him some fans. Picked him up some new fans, but it picked him up fans who are assholes. So the Oscars ruined it. Though no one's destroyed their career quite so thoroughly via transphobia as Graham Linehan. He was co-developer of a couple of pretty big shows in the UK. Father Ted and the IT Crowd, I think, were the big shows that he developed and co-wrote and all that. And then he went so far in on transphobia. Hey, Color Purple, going to the Pride March this year in Toronto? No. Nah, Toronto's too far to go to. But yeah, he cannot get work anymore. Father Ted was a banger. Yeah, that Graham Linehan cannot get work anymore. And even other transphobes want nothing to do with him. J.K. Rowling wants jack shit to do with him, and that burns him up so badly that J.K. Rowling never talks to him. Chicago Pride is tomorrow. Hurrah! One day I'll drag you kicking and screaming in my best red stuff to Toronto Comic Con. Decaf would be more my speed. Toronto Comic Con already passed for this year. It's nice, the VIP pass and everything. You're getting wood after this. So who was at this year's Toronto Comic Con? Stephen Ahola. Have I heard of Stephen Ahola? I don't think I have. Carousel Lane, I don't think so. Stephanie Cook, I've heard of. I think she did some. I believe she might have done some My Little Pony comics. Del Mundo. Of course I know Mike Del Mundo. Fucking love Mike Del Mundo. Cary Elwes is cool. Fell Hound rings a bell. Adam Gorham rings kind of a bell, but I don't know that I've read much of his stuff. Tom Grummett, I've read some of his stuff. Hepburn, Scott Hepburn, okay. Ian Herring, I do love Ian Herring's colors. Brenda Hickey, I think I have heard of. Jack Fisherwood, obviously. Ken Lash. All right, so Toronto Comic Con did have Steve Leialoha. Nice. Sam Maggs. So Toronto Comic Con this year did have pretty decent comic creator lineup. Does not always happen at comic conventions. Chicken or beef? Yeah, say beef. Ottawa Comic Con. Is everyone announced for that? Pretty dope lineup. Yeah, that one actually was that's actually a pretty good lineup. Toronto seems to get good guests, it looks like. But Ottawa Comic Con, which is in September. So let's look at Ottawa Comic Con's guests. Famke Janssen, okay, sure. I don't really care about actors, but sure. Tom Welling from Smallville. Amanda Tapping from Stargate SG-1. Kristen Kruick. Laura Vandervoort. Lexa Doig. Oh, Mark Waid, actually. Mark Waid's actually going to be in Ottawa. That's pretty cool. Premiere shenanigans next month for Brand New Day. You know, Mark Waid's a big name in comics, so that one's actually pretty good. Mark Williams, another actor. Mike Kovalitz, another actor. Michael Shanks, another actor. Ross Marquand, another actor. Stephen Ogg, another actor. And that seems to be everyone who's been announced so far. So, like, you know, out of all the guests currently announced for Ottawa Comic Con, one comic creator. One. One entire comic creator currently announced. Plenty of actors announced. You know, loads of actors announced. And one guy who actually fucking works in comics. You know, like that's That's so fucking annoying to me. Now, like, yeah, there'll probably be more announced over time. Yeah, I imagine that there actually will be more. But how about Montreal? Montreal, I think, is sooner. Who's in Montreal? Christopher Lloyd. That's pretty cool. All the ones I hit are packed. And Leah Thompson. Leah Thompson's a cool guest. Robert England, Ron Perlman. Bart Sears, okay. David Finch, okay. Gary Pullen, I don't actually know who that is. 4-day event, like 12-hour days, did everything and do all the things. I'm just in Comic Cons with a ridiculously small portion of actual comic creators. Yeah, I mean, the Ottawa. Like, Ottawa has very few comic creators traditionally. Jake Dion, not sure who that is. Ooh, Jeff Loeb. Montreal Comic Con's getting Jeff Loeb. What a get. Would have been a great get. Would have been a great guest 25 years ago. Actually, I thought his Nova run was actually pretty good. With Sam Alexander as Nova. I actually thought his Nova run was actually pretty good. But yeah, Jeff Loeb. Widely mocked. Jim Kruger. Not terribly familiar with him. Oh, hey, Linda Ballantyne, who voiced Sailor Moon back in the 90s. I don't have just strictly Comic Con like it's a fan expo. Basically. Um, oh shit, Mick Foley. That's pretty cool. Mick Foley at Montreal Comic Con. Mike McCone, pretty cool. Ramon Perez, nice. All right, yeah. Rick Leonardi, nice. Jeff Loeb is a sweetheart. Yeah, an extended period of being a hack, though. Like, he does some dope Batman stuff. Maybe, but for a long time, his comics were shit. And, like, it happened after his son died. So, it's hard to really blame him. You know, like, it feels really mean to criticize the work he put out after his son died. but he was putting out some bad comics. There's no getting around it. Like his run on Wolverine sucked. His Hulk sucked. He did some other stuff that sucked. He was just putting out some bad comics. He absolutely just like his career just absolutely, or his reputation, I should say. His reputation was just destroyed. Tom Grummett, cool. Troy Baker. Hey, Wallace Shawn. Love me some Wallace Shawn. Well, Eversley. Rephrase your immune system. Buttercup. Conflu. Messier. And Yuri Lowenthal. Andrew Thomas. I've never read any of his stuff. Or Andy Belanger. Anthony Rutgazer. Boom. Brenda Hickey. Well, she did do some My Little Pony comics. I thought so. I had all time for bed. Brianna June, who does some Archie comics apparently. Cecil Castellucci, never heard of her. Dan Parent, I have heard of. Very notable with for Archie. We all hit slums. Yeah, it's just his slump was like really bad. Dimitri Patelis. Ethan Sachs. I've heard of Ethan Sachs. I don't think I've ever read any of his comics. Giselle Lagacé. I know Giselle Lagacé. I think I might be sleeping outside tonight. I do know Giselle Lagasse. Jamie Jameson, JDC. Jean-Francois Labette. Jeff Monk, I've heard of. Sounds like that. Yeah, Montreal seems to have a pretty decent one. Ken Lashley. Kevin Briones. Marco Rudy. Love Marco Rudy. Mike Ruth. Mustafa Musa. R.B. White. Sir Point. I've never heard of him. Apparently he worked on Fantastic Four. I was unaware. Sweeney Boo. Nice. I've heard of Sweeney Boo. Marco Ruby. No, Marco Rudy. He's a Canadian artist. He's really good. NYCC was lit this year. A few others. Sweeney Boo. I don't know. I'm not terribly familiar with Sweeney Boo, but I have heard her name. And Yannick Paquette. Yeah, or Montreal. Montreal is a big city, and there's a lot of comic. There does seem to be a lot of comic creators there. West Coast Comic Con is always good. Like there actually does seem to be a fair number of really good comic artists, really good cartoonists who do live in and around Toronto or Montreal. Yeah, this year's TCAF has already passed. Not sure who was at this year's TCAF, but anyway, I'm get going. Vancouver does a good job. Yeah. So I guess just Ottawa that fucking sucks. Yeah, so I'm gonna get going. See you tomorrow for a mystery game. See you tomorrow for a game that I am not telling you now what it is. You'll find out tomorrow what game it is. So good night for now. Japan. Yeah, it'd probably be a fun one. So yeah, thanks for watching, and good night, everybody.